Anyway, good morning. Okay. In this morning section, so firstly, I need to just roughly explain. We're going to take this what we call the Attasila, or the 8 precepts, or or you could say the 8 kind of morality. You don't have to worry if you are not used to used to that, but basically, the procedure is like that. We will start firstly, usually the request. Because this is a kind of very, very old tradition, even stuff from India, 2,000 years ago. So you request the teacher to give you the precepts, okay, and then you will have a kind of praising the Buddha. So you will have and after that, then you take the 3 refuge and then the 8 precepts. But in case that you think that you feel very uncomfortable about this, so you may not recite it. But whatever light you find is not uncomfortable for you, then you don't have to recite after. Okay, and I just want to roughly to say what it is 8 precepts. So generally, when you certainly, one of the most beneficial way to practice. You definitely need to have a certain type of discipline for your practice. I'm sure that whenever you do anything, the same thing, without a discipline, it's very, very difficult to achieve. Especially if you want to look for the advanced kind of better mental situation. In the 8 precepts, they're divided into a few things. One thing is about, first thing is about a very universal kind of law that we need to observe. For example, so you promise that during one day, one night, you are not going to kill anything, okay? But normally, for Buddhists, of course, you usually observe that you are not killing, but that normally just only limited to not kill like the big thing, like a human and so forth. Okay. But however, when you're in a monastery, and then when you're observing the 8 precepts, that's the way to understand when you say you're not killing. So we're including something even maybe very small. Unless there's some reasons, otherwise you don't deliberately going to kill them. For example, like ants or even flies, if possible. Luckily, because you live in here, and especially now it's the winter time, definitely you don't have mosquitoes. Okay. But otherwise, during that, when you're observing the 8 precepts, that even a mosquito bites you, you try not to kill the mosquitoes, okay? But that's only applied to when you are observing the 8 precepts, okay? And something that is like what we call the universal kind of morality. And the other thing is about like you're not stealing, not taking anything is not given. Besides that, actually, some other thing are more like because you are practicing, when you are in the monastery, usually you have to learn how to live in a more simple life. Like you are not going to sleep in a very, very comfortable bed. You are not going to you do a meditation, you want to sit, you wanted to, you have that strong craving, like sitting in the sofa, very comfortable chair. That's why you sit on a very simple kind of mattress, because maybe at first you feel uncomfortable for you, but actually it's the way for you not to be reliant, or basically not learn just to be simple, so that actually you still can, by that simplicity, fulfilling your practices, something like that, okay? And the other thing is normally maybe you will, every day you want to listen to some music, right? If without the music you feel the life is no meaning, something like that. But then when you have 8 precepts, you start to reflect. That doesn't mean that when you really do something wrong, then you're really, dead. No, it's not like that. No, you've been punished. It's nothing to do with that. It just only, it's a guideline for you that then you learn trying to study, not to do what, So actually, in original Pali would mean you are learning, trying to study on not doing like refrain yourself from not listening to the music, seeing anything entertainment, and so forth. Okay. Please also remember, this doesn't mean that some people, once they have learning this precept in a monastery, don't take this at home. They say, okay, I will do the same thing at home. Then the people will thought you're a weird person, right? I mean, if you want to do, I don't know, that is not it's not my opinion. Basically, it's not my subject. But I'm saying is, usually if you want to really serious practice about your meditation, it's kind of like you really serious wanted to investigate what is your mind. Even though this time you come for a retreat for the force alive binding, really serious trying to just learn the focus in the deepest way, not just like normally, oh, relax, feel well, that's all. But you really serious that when your mind, your mental could be dive into much more deeper for your focus, actually much more deeper for your kind of developing your mental state, right? Then those things you have to be refrained of doing it. I'm sure people might understand that in a simple way is, if you really want to get down yourself to write something really important, I don't think you will listen to music and going to see a movie and do an entertaining thing. You know what I'm saying? That, right? You definitely put that aside first. You just don't want anything, and you're not going to sit on a very comfortable bed, sit on a comfortable sofa. You cannot do anything. You definitely just have something very simple and just sit down and do your job, right? The same way. So, and this is what is one of the actually the most important thing, the main thing for the 8 precepts. Okay, and we are going to do the 8 precepts. I'm going to explain a little bit more next time. But when we're doing the 8 precept, we're going to chant the Pali. We do have the English translation, I think, and do we put the Chinese there too? I think, yeah, we do have a Chinese there too. But, you know, I guess it's the kind of like tradition. If you have the chance, then we will chant the Pali. You know, like in Theravada country, like in a Thai tradition, or kind of what they call the Theravada tradition. So they regarded the Pali as the holy language in a way, because in Theravada usually understood that the Buddhas, you know, used to speak the Pali language. But I think maybe the better way to understand is basically actually because the Buddha used to live in the Magadha for 27 years. So, and then it is believed that in Magadha they were speaking kind of dialect, you know. Even though now this language has died off already in the area. Actually, not only this language. Recently, we do find a lot of manuscript, but Buddhist manuscript from Afghanistan and some other places. You know that Afghanistan used to be a Buddhist country in the past, right? And in those places, and then you found a lot of manuscript, and they do have a different kind of, very similar to Pali, and very similar, somewhat close to the Sanskrit language, and those what we call a hybrid language. And those hybrid languages actually also died off already, you know. Because don't forget, actually, India was occupied by Muslims for 800-something years already. And one of the targets in the history, the Muslims really dislike Buddhism anyway. But that's another thing. I want to say is that, so we do chant the Pali. One thing is, I think it's kind of like Theravada believe that is a kind of like a holy language, and all you could understand during the time of the Buddha, if we take that the Buddha lived in the Magadha for 27 years, and then he actually mostly, quite a large number of time, he spoke the Pali language, okay, which is actually a kind of like a dialect. If you don't understand what that is, if you think they will maybe have a kind of dialect in India, okay. Okay. What we have doing is that when you do the 8 precept, unless you have reasons like you cannot kneel down, then you don't need, okay? Otherwise, you do have to kneel. And Sagadananda, whenever Sagadananda is going to read, you can read after Sagadananda, because usually you read by yourself, but I don't know. Unless you are Spanish, it's much easier because you can read the Pali almost like reading in Spanish, okay? The way, I mean, like, LA is la, you know, GA is ga, like that, you know. But just somewhat is, you don't have it in Spanish, but somewhat like that. just really like a Spanish language. I think we can start and then, yeah. I would say that traditionally also, that normally when you, like people when they come to a temple and they will, might have seen a Buddha statue, right? And they will just kneel down and they prostrate to the Buddha statue. And when you prostrate to the Buddha statue, I mean, certainly there were one of the way of doing it, and then you have to, like when you close your palm in front of Buddha, you will chant like what you are just doing, like Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa, okay? So what does it mean? Because, I mean, definitely from Buddhist perspective, without the born or the arising of the Buddha, so, or you could say arising of Buddha within a universe or within a galaxy system in the earth, okay? So then we won't have able to have the Buddhism. Then when we address the Buddha as the, like, Namo Tassa, Namo is just a kind of, Indian language mean honor to, you know, kind of respect, kind of way. And not like a hell, okay, hell the king or hell the queen, something like that. But it's kind of like, you know, you're just having an honor to the Buddha. So then you say Namo Tassa. Tassa actually just a Pali word mean of the person, of whom, okay? So I honor of the person of whom is the, so Tassa, Bhagavato is a Bhagava, is the Arahant, is the Samma Sambuddha, okay? It means just like, you know, somebody might have many titles, like he might be a doctor, maybe a father, and might be a, let's say, a musician, you know, like that. So when you call somebody as a musician, you know, definitely that person could play some music instrument. And then when you say he's a doctor, say the medical doctor, then you know he might be, you know, a kind of doctor, but maybe he's a surgeon or whatever. And then so if you say a father, I mean he must be having a family like that, okay? So when you say, when you homage to Buddha, say Namo Tassa Bhagavato, Bhagava actually it's one of the terms now still used in India wisely, I mean in everywhere. So it's just a term usually when in India, somebody who's been honored as a very powerful guru, you know. So it's called Bhagava, okay. So don't be surprised sometimes when you read any book, like especially not necessarily Buddhism, I'm talking about the books that even in the modern time that belong to the India religion. So and then they might be called their guru as a Bhagavan, okay, Bhagavan, okay. So it's a kind of honor term. But originally the Bhagavan meaning is just somehow it means the lucky one, someone who really lucky, kind of like they could have their good achievement. You know, when someone have an achievement, definitely from Buddhist perspective, I mean from Indian religious understanding, it's definitely you have to be really lucky on that, okay. So even though later on the Bhagavan be understood like somebody, the most honorable one, okay. But actually the original just mean the lucky one, okay. And then that's one of the really like kind of like blessed, you know, because of he's so lucky. And the other meanings of and the other words, other title of the Buddha is the what is that? Bhagavad Arahant. The Arahant. So maybe easier to understand the Arahant is as in Chinese the Olohan. So as someone that who cut off the reincarnation. So the word like Arahant, it's certainly you could understand as someone who cut off the enemy. The enemy here, or to kill the enemy or destroy the enemy. The enemy refer to our defilements, that our greed, our pride, you know, and our craving and our ignorance, and then also and then our doubt, you know, many of those things as the root of our defilements. So, and that's why it's called Arahant, because from Buddhist understanding, someone who be Arahant someone who can be cut off the reincarnation has to do through the practice of meditation able to cut off all those defilements. Become those defilements, then none of the defilement could serve as a cause for your rebirth again. Okay, so that's what I mean by the Arahant. And the Buddha also has a title called Samma Sambuddha. Okay, Samma Sambuddha. That's why usually that's how we normally chant. That's Bhagava Arahant Samma Sambuddha, Bhagava Arahant Samma Sambuddha. So the word Samma Sambuddha, you could understand as like evenly, someone who attain the wisdom evenly. But here always refer to not the disciple of the Buddha, but almost like the founder of Buddhism. Okay? Because it's always a traditional belief that someone who can attain the Samma Sambuddha, you cannot attain the Samma Sambuddha because you are the disciple of some of the Buddha. Basically, you can have only one Buddha at a time. Okay? So Samma Sambuddha refer to someone who able, because of practice of paramita in the past, that the perfection in the past. So when that kind of like a fruit is ripened, so when he knows the time is ready, he will be from the heavens, come down to the earth, the heaven, what we call the Dusita heaven. So come down, we have many levels of heaven, but that one level of heaven is called Dusita heaven, and come down to the earth. And then somehow in his life, maybe he will meet somebody, he might be see something, but somehow he will be, kind of like a fruit has to be ripe, has to be ripened. So he will be realize that, he need to renounce a life, and then he will attain the Samma Sambuddha. Well, maybe best to say that when the Buddha attained the Samma Sambuddha, it's very different from the other Arahants, like his disciple. For example, one of the things is he doesn't need somebody teach them what is a Four Noble Truth, how to meditate on a Four Noble Truth, how to meditate on like the Paticca in mind, the dependent arising, and so forth. He actually somehow just get it by himself. That's one of the very unique things, being a Samma Sambuddha. And the second unique thing, being a Samma Sambuddha, it's he also, when he attained those, when he achieved those power. Normally, some people, when they achieve their fruit, basically mean become a noble person as a saint, they might be just see the past life one or two. But for Samma Sambuddha, they will see the past life for like a million past life, So imagine just like a doctor. If you look at a patient, he just know, oh, you have a problem. But somebody really, really powerful that he could trace your problem from when you were a childhood, how that comes until now, right, like that. So he could see the past life for the million past, his own past life. So, and he also could see the whole universe, how the universe evolved. For example, in Buddhist belief, the universe start, like Earth, for example, is one of the small planet. And then how that planet, in other universe actually, other galaxy, they do have that similar life, but they were just somehow, everything had gone to be deteriorated, like destroyed. When that been destroyed, and then the Earth arises in other galaxy, for example, like that. So then when the Buddha able to, through his practices, to see not just himself being reborn again, he was a king, he was a monkey, he was anything, okay? And then he also could see that the whole universe, how the universe evolve and destroy and evolve and destroy, okay? That's what we call the cease and arising and cease and arising. That's the second knowledge again. But normal Arahant, they not necessarily have to see the whole universe evolve, okay? So, that's another quality for being a Samma Sambuddha. And the third is also, of course, because he has been practiced for a long time as a paramita, the perfection. So when the time he become a Buddha, he got a lot of skillful way. And he do know, he could teach anybody, whenever everyone, because everyone is different, but he could know what's the problem of that person, what kind of method he should use in order to become the Arahant, like that. So that's called a Samma Sambuddha. Anyway, It's a term that usually you don't use. You definitely don't use for anyone who gain enlightenment now, or even after when the Buddha after the Buddha. So, and according to the Theravada understanding, or normally in what we call the basic Buddhist understanding, or you could say the foundation of Buddhist understanding. So, in one of the planet, you can only have one Buddha. Okay, unless when the Dharma been gone, that means Dharma means there's no any Buddhist teaching at all gone. Otherwise, there's no way to arise in a second Buddha. Okay, this is how the the normal understanding. So why we have a chant is because it's a way to actually gain a faith. I mean, you do need a faith. The faith is not like because you believe they will be like in other religion, but at least you must have the faith to know, okay, someone, 2,600 years ago, who actually able to attain being like the Bhagavan. The one is the most lucky one. The one can cut off the reincarnation. This is not an easy thing. Okay, I'm talking. And then be Arahant. And also someone actually become a Buddha. Not just because he will follow some other teachers and become, but he have his own power. So become the Buddha called Samma Sambuddha. So when you have those faith, so it's really helpful for you when you're doing your meditation. So, this is, now maybe you don't have to, according to the Buddhist understanding, when you practice, when you come to the stage of what we call, stream antennas, they mean you become Sotapanna, so someone that become a noble person. Before you become a noble person, there will few things will happen to you. One, you will know your past life. One, you definitely know, you build up this kind of faith of the Buddha, basically. And of course, I'm going to explain it tomorrow. And you will build up the faith of the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha. Otherwise, you are just doing it. Okay, I'm doing meditation. It's good for me. It's fine. But if you really practice deeper and deeper and deeper, you will start to find, wow, the Buddha taught about something usually people don't want to pay attention to. Not that you don't have the power. You do have the power. You do have the ability. It's just only you need the people guidance, unless you're like a Buddha anyway. So then you definitely at the time you understand, I see. So there's nothing that I would take the refuge, but I only would take the refuge to the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha. Okay, so I will explain what are those meaning tomorrow. Okay, now I will just need to explain a little bit more about what we are going to do today on the meditation. Today we will still, because our time is really, to me, the time is really limited. We don't have much time, so there were lots of process we needed going on. And actually, when you practice the Metta meditation or the loving kindness concentration, so there are several ways to practice to achieve the same thing. Firstly, you need to achieve what? You need to achieve the samadhi, okay? The term is, I don't know, anyone never heard about the term samadhi? No, if you can raise your hand, at least I need to explain. If you have been heard before, then I don't have to say anything. Anyway, just remember this is a term is very common in Buddhism, okay? We don't like to translate it because it's very hard. Usually we translate the word samadhi mean a concentration, but it could carry a different meaning to other people. Samadhi actually, if you look at the word I don't want to, in the language, sama, so actually the word from sama, actually, it refers to mean collectively, the mind have, collectively you could let your mind to go one way, okay? Maybe that's mean by samadhi. That's a general, the literal translation. So samadhi actually it's the foundation to Buddhism, one of the very important foundation of the practices, or especially the foundation of the wisdom. So samadhi been understood as a state of the mind. Okay, it's not like because okay I feel good, it's samadhi. So it's not like because I could focus, it's called samadhi. Strictly speaking, when we say samadhi, it means that you will reach to the state whenever you close your eye or even you open your eyes, you just focus what you need to focus. For example, you practice a loving kindness meditation. It could be you, it could be the other person. You could just focus when that loving kindness might arise, the samadhi will arise. What does it mean? It means that a certain light will arise. Okay, the light definitely will be there, and then there was a kind of limiter, a kind of like semi-membrane kind of the disc will be there. I don't mean the disc, but it's just like a disc will be there. That is called a samadhi. I mean, there are so many different samadhi. I mean, loosely to say, if you can focus, you could say it's a samadhi mean. But really, if you want to put in the Buddhist term, that you want to have a foundational samadhi mean that every time when you want to focus, then it should be something that will be ready. It's almost like, you know, when you say I'm a good, how to say, I'm a good, let's say I'm a good basketball player. You definitely at least have 80% that you could, you know, really, how to say, shoot the basketball to the what do you call that one? Basket? Right? Huh? Hoop. I don't know. H-O-O-D. Hood. Hoop. Okay. Thank you. You know, you could able to, you know, shoot aim to the hood. You know, you cannot say okay, but accidentally I will just get once, and then I know how to play basketball well. You know, you don't, right? Something like that. So when you samadhi mean at least when you try, you almost like 80%. You're able, you know, to able less there was a nimitta, a kind of this will appear. Okay, that's called a samadhi. So there are many ways of practice. I think I don't want to explain that so much because I think best to say about the method now. Just want to say that what is your aim? So now you know. Then in order to reach that, you know, you at first you most like you're going through a training. So the training, the first thing that you need to able to meditate on yourself, roughly, and then you're able to meditate on the dearest person, roughly, and then you're able to meditate on strangers, somebody you don't know, that you're still able to generate the same kind of the loving kindness mind. Okay, not only that you are also able to generate the same kind of loving kindness mind towards the most hostile person to you. When I say the hostile person, I'm referred to at least in the present time, okay, now. So that is if you're able to generate the same kind of loving kindness mind to like the most dearest person, like the stranger, as well as the most hostile person. And then there was a way to teach also that if you can put all these people, I mean these few category people together, and if you could still do the same loving kindness meditation, and somehow it's almost for sure that the light will pervade, okay? And then you will start to have a lot of wonderful things coming around. And then you will come to a point that you might be reached to the really strong samadhi, okay? This is what at least for today, I don't mean you'll reach today, but at least you have to learn the method, how you should do that, okay? We usually, now, yesterday I was saying that you could divide into eight classes, you could divide into 7 classes. That is, remember that, okay? If you want to divide into 8 classes, you would divide the one of the respect persons, okay? The respect, what we call the respectable ones, and then the dearest one, and then the moderate dearest, moderate dear person to you, and then the less dear person to you. There are 4 classes there already. Get it now? And then you have the neutral as the 5th one, and then you have that the neutral mean, you know, you might just met, You don't know them. Okay, you might just know the name. You never really have any, any interact with that person. And then you have this hostile person, from the less hostile to the moderate hostile persons, and then to the most hostile persons to you. Okay. So later, what you are doing, start from now, when you do this loving kindness meditation, you have to start to visualize somebody. Of course, you always start with the dearest person first. And I think in this morning sitting, what you have to do, just practice what you have done yesterday, and then you add one thing, is that just to do 2 more person or 3 more person, or just, if you like, you can just stick to 1 person or 2 person to the dearest person. Okay, get it now? Understand that? Okay. And then after the lunch, when you come back, then I would remind you again, but then you can start to meditate on different classes of person. So also please remember, when you pick up those person, it could be different day by day. Okay, don't think that, or even time to time, don't think that, okay, my dearest person only that person. So, and now today you don't like that person. It might happen, right? If you have an argument with that person. So, and then you want to just get rid of that person. So you must recognize that now I find the person as the less hostile person, or maybe the most hostile person to you. Okay. So don't be, you have to be truthful, like when you observe the precept today. So you have to be really honest. So you have to be truthful. Okay, but don't worry, nobody asks you who is your hostile person. Okay, I'm just saying that because this is your practice. So it's very important always to pick up the right person for the dearest person, because when you start to do meditation, and particularly if you build a foundation, so you need to pick up someone really, really dearest to you. Okay, that you feel very comfortable. Just visualize that person. Okay, to start with. If you find somehow, you do have a little something opinion or what. Okay, you might be able to put it down, but it's still disturbing you, and then you should leave it and then pick up someone, okay, as the dearest person to practice. Okay, okay, get it now. Now, there's a little challenge. Yesterday I was saying that when you practice, if you visualize that person's face right here, you just know that, you just make a note, you know that person is here, the face is over here, and how that person somehow looks like. And then you still say that may you be free from animosity or anxiety and so forth, to let this loving kindness mind flow, right? So because when that mind flow, it helps you to put away other thoughts. Now, but when you find that you could do that much, much easier, without any effort, okay, you do feel that loving kindness mind is there already. It's just like when you see a panda, like a little panda, you just feel, oh, cute, right? Nice. You feel that kind of joy. So that sort of feeling. You don't need to say, oh, may you be happy, may you be, and so. But because you recognize that. Remember, when you have distraction, you always need to say it, because it helps you to put away your distraction, okay? Then when that kind of mind flow, and somehow, when it becomes much easier for you to feel that kind of flowing, then you need to pay a little more attention on the front, okay? Okay? It's almost like when you know how to drive a car quite well, then you start to pay attention in the front. Oh, there's a shop over here, okay, something like that. Okay. Otherwise, actually, you still paying attention on the road. When you're a new driver, you are much more worried about your controlling your brake and all sort of thing, right? But when you're good already, you just kind of like you automatically know you're doing that, but you pay attention on the front. So you will come to a point that both the front and then your loving kindness will merge together, okay? Anyway, those are just telling you how you feel, but don't look for that, okay? Just do what I said, okay? But if you have questions, then you may ask later on, okay? All right. I will just run the bell. I don't know whether I should let you to, maybe I should let you to take a break for 10 minutes and then come back at 6 o'clock, okay? And then we'll do almost less than an hour and then we will have our breakfast. Okay. Yeah, come back at 6 o'clock. Yeah, according to the timetable, it's 6 to 7.